Damn y'all, it's so hot. Why am I drinking hot tea? Hot tea in a hot month, this isn't right. Damn it, Terry. You've done it to me this time. I can't take the heat up. Thank goodness. Thank goodness for Flood. Flood and Mario Sunshine. We can cool down. Cool down in Nookie Bay. Nookie Bay, cool down, y'all. This heat, man, is too much. It's too much. Can you take the heat? Well, I hope you can, because I'm bringing you the heat today. Welcome back to Majora Speaks Returns, everybody. It's me, Majora, and we're keeping it cool with the heat today. Is it ironic? Perhaps, yes, but I brought you some stellar video content to enjoy in today's premiere. We're gonna log an RPG that we've been playing for a while now. We're at about 30 hours, so that's something to look forward to. Got a video response on a pretty interesting topic. I think y'all might be into it. We have kind of what I'd call like a gaming vlog, but it's more of like a personal milestone, but still related to like gaming and everything. And we have the return of a classic guest on a classic episode of Majora Cast Returns. Also, stay tuned for the end. We'll have Q&A and a viewer voicemail segment, and really there's going to be a lot for you to enjoy. A couple footnotes. I may change the ordering of what installments upload when. So like, you know, I'm going to do RPG log first today, but I'm going to post the video response first tomorrow. And also, there was something else I wanted to say. I don't remember. Doesn't matter. It's hot. We'll remember. We'll figure it out. It's going to be great. I'll see you there. Let's do it, y'all. Woohoo! Let's return in this heat. Hey guys, Future Man Bun Ted here. Look, I've remembered what I want to say. I just want to get off real quick. There's one new style of video I said I might be trying at some point during this premiere. It doesn't happen during the premiere, but if I get the chance, I'll work on one before we do another Majora Speaks Returns. That way you get a little glimpse at it. With that being said, we're going to kick off the videos, starting with RPG log. Oh yeah. Let's do it, y'all. See you there. Demon Guard, Taru Kaja, Raku Kaja, Suku Kaja, replicate. That's a formula for a winning battle. And you might not get that reference, but when you're at the point in SMT3 where I am, well, you might, because it's optional. Hi everybody, welcome to an RPG log for Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne HD Remaster for PlayStation 4 and Nintendo Switch. I am currently 27 hours and some odd minutes into the game, and I am thrilled to be here logging my experience with that time for you today. I have previously played Nocturne and not gotten very far in it, so this is actually a welcome surprise for me. I'm really engrossed and in depth into it. And for those who haven't seen it, I did an RPG log of my first 10 hours into the game, and you can go check it out here on the YouTubes. But besides that point, I do want to talk about how the game is developing in terms of things such as gameplay, narrative, and you know, some of the systems and mechanics that are involved. So let's dig right in with gameplay. I think this is kind of user-friendly, you know, even for people who've not really tried this or an SMT game for themselves. Within 27 hours, the experience only gets thicker and thicker and deeper and deeper. It's the way that SMT works is it's a monster taming game where your monsters are demons and you recruit demons through negotiation, through fusion, through a demon compendium where you can register and summon them. And it might sound confusing, but I think the more time that you invest into it, the more that it makes sense. And it's very rich. There's many ways that you can customize your party, and demons, they come and they go, but they all are building towards a larger purpose. Even though you may dispose of demons through fusion, they end up being part of the later demon that you get. One mechanic that I've really liked is evolution. Sometimes the demon will say, you know, after you've leveled it up, this demon is showing signs of change on its body, and it's up to you whether you want to evolve them or not. They usually keep all their skills, their stats increase, their level increases, and it's kind of a win-win for you and for the demon. So that's something that I encourage. I've gotten some nice results out of that. I've gotten a Valkyrie out of one of my Yomas before. I've gotten what else did I get? I'm not really sure what else. I do like how the Kagutsushi system works with the game as well. So in the top left corner of the gameplay, I believe it's left, I'm just doing this off memory here, you'll see kind of a moon and a symbol about how full the moon is in terms of eighths. It could be, 3 out of 8, half moon, full moon, new moon, and that's called the Kagutsushi. And Kagutsushi affects things such as demon negotiation, but also fusion. If you fuse on a full Kagutsushi, you have the option to fuse special demons or to sacrifice demons to make your fusion stronger. This is actually useful when you have a bunch of fusion fodder in terms of your party, because quite frankly, you can only train 3 demons at one time, and that leaves like a good 5, 6, 7, 8 demons at any one time not being trained. And so if you can dispose of those ones in order to make the fusion stronger and more leveled up, oftentimes it's worth it. I've played with it once or twice. It's kind of nice. But I just like that the system is in place. Beautiful. That is a majestic looking demon we got right here. The good thing is neither of those moves are bad picks. I can't wait to kick some ass. Me too, man. Me too. Also, I've had to use out of battle skills on the field. Things such as Light Toma or Lift Toma. Light Toma lights up dark alleys, and Lift Toma prevents floor damage. Both of those are super imperative and crucial that you have them. I cannot stress that enough. Get them. They're going to make your ride so much easier rather than using items for that. Let's talk a little bit more into terms of story. That was weird grammar, but you know what? Let it pass. It's just an RPG log, isn't it? So I was worried initially with this game that it would be story depleted, that I wouldn't be invested in terms of characters and the overall plot. Oh, angels, demons, the world's on fire, yada, yada. I've seen it before. I played SMT4. But it's actually a little deeper than that. And this is where, I'm going to start talking some more specifics. So, if you want to check out, I'm okay with that. Like if you want to not spoil this for yourself, but I'll try not to overdo it either. Basically, there's 2 factions. There's the Mantra and there's the Assembly of Nihilo. They're both demon run, but you'll see that people from the human world actually integrate more with the Assembly of Nihilo. But you have people who are separated from you, but also tied to you from the beginning of the game. Your friends from school, your teacher, some random cultist, and a photographer, who each kind of play parts in this overall conflict between the two. What's really interesting is that neither side is particularly likable. The motto of the Mantra, their mantra, I guess you could say, is, only the strong survive. And so basically they're a bunch of punk demons, and, they've enslaved these demon creatures called mannequins, which are formed out of mud, and they look like people. And so it's kind of a role reversal there. It's actually quite interesting. I didn't think much of the mannequins the first time that I had seen them in the game, but they are a character that are actually growing on me. They do take a role of greater importance as the story goes on. The Assembly of Nihilo, I thought I would like more. I thought that they were going to be like the rescuers and, the vanquishers of these evil demons. But essentially what they want is, quote unquote, a world of stillness. So I guess what this comes from is a general dissatisfaction with the way that the world operates. And they want to create the world in their own image, be their own gods of a sort, rather than operate within the rules that already exist. And so they use like this machine. It's called like the Nightmare Machine. And it basically, they are trying to take out the Mantra so they can create the world they want to live in, because the Mantra are more powerful, but the Assembly has the tools and the technology in order to perform its wishes, let's just say. I haven't really decided where my allegiances lie. They're both interesting in that I don't really care for either of them, but I'm interested to see how the story plays out either way. It hasn't shown, I haven't seen any signs of, oh, your path is set right now, or you made a fatal decision within the first 27 hours, but those things are gradually becoming clearer and clearer to me. There's one last point I want to talk about, and that is side quests. I have done 2 optional quests in this game, and this has reinvented to me what a side quest could be. I love some of the optional exploring and side quests you can do at this point in the game. You know, obviously the joke I was making in the beginning, that's with reference to a side quest. And, you know, it involves a massive fight that you have to do, and it's actually kind of cheap, but I loved going through the ropes and trying to figure out how to take down this evil demon. It reminded me of Kingdom Hearts, oddly enough, where you could, you know, go find Sephiroth in a corner of the map and fight him if you so choose, but you have to like go through all these steps to get him there. And, you know, it was similar to that. There was another side quest where I spent 4 freaking hours doing this thing just because I really wanted to see it through. And it actually involves kind of a, I don't want to say mini game. It's actually a Atlas created arcade game specifically for this game. It's really impressive, and I was having so much fun with it. I won't spoil what it is for those that want to play it. But yeah, and these side quests actually give you amazing rewards in terms of Magatama. Magatama is the kind of spirit energy that you can choose at any point on your custom menu for your main character, and they determine what type of character is he. Is going to be a physical build, a fire build, a light build, a healing, or support. And so it's actually been very rewarding in terms of that. But anyways, that's 27 hours and some odd minutes for me. I am loving every second. I'm getting deeper and deeper in the thick. It's grossly addicting, and that's kind of what I love about SMT. And, you know, it's not disappointing in that regard. Have you played SMT3? If so, what point are you up to in the story? I'd love to know. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you soon.
Hey y'all, it's me, Majora, and this heat is no joke. It's hot, man. It's goddamn hot, but that's why I'm in the car running the AC. And you know what else brings the heat, or who else, I should say? Multimaster, my man from Miami, the Miami Heat. What's up, Multimaster? I'm doing a little video response to you, and also a video response to Silver Mongoose Videos. He did a video recently, why don't I sell these games? And he has a couple case studies with each of the games and goes into why. I want to start with Multimaster. He asked me in the Discord a question for Q&A, and I'm actually kind of turnkeying this into a video response. I just think it, you know, lightens or opens up a topic kind of nicely. He asked if I sold the Nintendo DS Lite that I reviewed way back in the day, 2014, when I was in Hawaii. I did sell it, yes. I don't remember when. I don't remember what the circumstances were, but I sold it and I made money off of it. You know, I did like the thing. It was a nice unit, and I had customized it. I had a nice, cool outer shell casing and like a little strap you could put your pinky through while you're playing so you don't drop the DS and everything. And it was legit, but I did sell it, and I made some money off of it. And so that brings me to the next question by Silver Mongoose Videos. He asks, why doesn't he sell his games? And I ask, why do I sell mine? And, you know, you can include consoles and video games all kind of in the same moniker there. All of my video game merchandise and memorabilia. I sold amiibos. I've sold all of it. And the answer to that is multifaceted. But before I go into it, I do want to say I acknowledge and I respect everybody's perspective on video games and video game merchandise and video game collecting. If you're all about having a great collection, the purpose of this video is not to put you down. It's just to express my personal history and perspective with the medium. It's not a popular one. A lot of people are like, how could you sell this? Why did you sell this? Well, the truth is, I have the mindset and the perspective that video games are a luxury item. They are not an extension of myself. They are something I can enjoy in different ways. I can enjoy like the outer casings and the video game play and playing the games over time. But at the end of the day, my primary investment is in myself and in my family. And anything extra that, income-wise or whatever, I could put towards video games if I like. I could put it towards going to bowling. I could put it towards, a gym membership. But it's a luxury item. And so I'm going to talk about each of the categories that Silver Mongoose Videos goes into in his video topic. I highly suggest y'all check it out. Maybe you want to check it out before this one and come back. But it's a solid topic. And so I'm going to address kind of like why I sell these games, but also how can I sell these games. And another footnote is throughout my life, this is being a little more personal, by the way, I've been in a state of financial hardship throughout most of it. And my perspective on what constitutes financial hardship is when you live in debt. And I've hated living in debt. I felt like it was a path that was kind of cultivated for me. And at the age of 18, I didn't really decide that for myself. 17 even. But it's one that I was brought into, and it's one that I have to take responsibility for and, clean up myself. And I've done a damn good job of that. And a lot of that has even been selling video games to get to the point where I'm at now, and financial literacy. So if you ever want to talk about that stuff, we could talk about that. Hit me up in Discord or whatever. But let's talk about the games. The first category that Silver Mongoose goes into is games that have become obsolete. And he uses, as an example, Splatoon. To be honest, I don't really have many games. I did own Monster Hunter Tri on the Wii, which I know you could play and you could get a single player experience out of it, but it's just not the same way it was intended to be played. You could say a lot of the same things about like these online games. I remember I own Knights. That's probably the only example of a game that I have where like there was an online functionality. I don't even know if it was useful then, but that function is mostly obsolete. The game is still cool. To be honest, I probably wouldn't even sell those games because they're really just like not worth much. I would trade them to a video game store. And my rationale for that is that even though, I could just give it away and just leave it in the laundry room or something, these video game stores charge us for the same thing. They charged me $5 for Battleborn, and that shit didn't work, man, by the time I bought it. So, you know what? Screw them. They can give me some money back for it, even if it's like, pennies. I don't want anybody to have to go through that same thing. So I would trade that in a heartbeat. He mentions next broken games, and it says I'm using broken kind of lightly, but he mentions like a game where like the save battery has died, and you could repair it, but it's basically a hassle to do so. He has like the Chrono Trigger SNES cart and a Pokemon Crystal copy. That is something I could bring myself to sell because I know I'm not going to play that broken cart. And some person might, get a kick out of fixing it up. People do buy things for parts on eBay. And honestly, of those games that have like the built-in battery saves, I mean, most of those are emulatable. And at that point, it's just a matter of simplicity and ease. And also, I think in just the grand scheme, it's like, what am I doing here with this game? The purpose of the game is to enjoy it. Am I really enjoying just looking at it, and just having it here in the collection? Even if it was like, let's say it's an original copy of my cart of Majora's Mask, wouldn't I rather have a functioning cart so I could enjoy it? I don't necessarily enjoy the physicality of something, like of a video game. That doesn't matter to me. It's more about the experience, and that'll actually tie us into a future topic. But I want to save kind of some of my talking points for that. So we'll get there when we get there. His next category is games that he will play again, such as Clock Tower, like on the PS1. That was his example. For me, like a game I'm going to play again, like F-Zero GX. I'm 100% going to play F-Zero GX again. That's going to happen. Can I bring myself to sell it? When push comes to shove, yes, I can sell that. Why? Well, because again, it's as much as I will treasure that experience, I will treasure playing it again. These are things you can buy back. And I love some of these games. I do. I don't love them more than my girlfriend. I don't love them more than my father. I don't love them more than the apartment that I stay in. And so if it came to it, I don't put F-Zero GX above the important people in my life. It doesn't work that way. So I could bring myself to sell some of those classics that are really mainstays to me. Let's talk about the next category, games that hold nostalgia or future nostalgia. Like if I looked at this, I could be like, wow, I really loved my time playing Mario Sunshine on the GameCube, and so I have this game, and I might boot it up one day and I'll just think back fondly of it. I left this as a comment in Silver Mongoose videos. I don't treasure the experience of a video game, even if it got me through a hard time, more than I experienced something somebody individually did for me. Now, if a game was gifted, that's actually a little different, because I do find it harder to sell a game that somebody gave me as a gift, because I attribute some kind of memory to them and thinking about them caring about me. While the impact of the game itself may have impacted me, I will always have those memories and those thoughts. I don't need, a physical representation at all times on the ready to be there for me. It's just not necessary. And so, as far as nostalgia as a talking point, like if it came to it, I would sell my copy of Majora's Mask. I would do it. The next category is expensive games. Actually, no, it's not. I'm going to come back to that. The next category is essential games, or games that you take pride in owning. Oh, I own a complete N64 set. Oh, I own all of the Rareware games. To me, that's really just like a very superficial aspect of the medium. I don't care about this kind of like, it's not a contest playing video games. For some people, it is. For some people, it's like, dude, come over and check out my complete Sega Saturn North American collection. Cool. How much could you have invested in your 401k with that? I don't know. It's so the only essential games for me are the ones I intend to play, and the ones that I have some purpose for owning. And especially ones that I will play with family members or by myself, either way. That's the only essential games to me. The last category is expensive games. So, I have a couple games I sold last year for upwards of about $100 to $200. And, one game I did sell that I almost regret selling is Shin Megami Tensei Devil Summoner 2 Raido Kuzunoa versus King Abaddon. Yes, that is the title. It was also a damn good game. I didn't expect to regret it because I was so turned off to the PS2, and then I actually found that I was enjoying the PS2 as I was selling these games. But here's one important lesson that I learned from Derek the Completionist. He says this multiple times with regards to his hobby, and he has a very interesting collecting philosophy. I highly encourage y'all to check out some of his videos. He states, you have to accept the market value for what it is. If a game goes up in value and you want that game, be ready to pay that price. And you can't lament that a game has gone up or that it's become worth less. If I have my $500 copy of Fire Emblem Path of Radiance and I play it and then tomorrow it's worth $20, I will learn to accept that rate. And I can definitely bring myself to sell expensive games because in a case of an emergency, that is my go-to. Now, I have a very interesting game that I've worked a little bit through. It is Fire Emblem Path of Radiance on the GameCube. Boston Burf sent it to me. I have no intention of selling that until I've at the very least given it the full playthrough. I've put about 10 hours in the past. I'll probably just resume play. But in terms of just like it being expensive, I have no qualms selling it regardless if it goes up in value later on. That's the other thing too, is like it's kind of criminal that some of these games are worth so much, in that so many people won't get the chance to play them, because at the end of the day, they're not, like, while they may be collectibles, they're utilitarian. They have a function that is to be served, and that is to be played. By not being played, the history is being lost. And I mean, there's a case for emulation right there. And so it kind of brings me back full circle to the DS Lite, which was nostalgic. It was a solid console, and I kind of could use one nowadays. But at the end of the day, the enjoyment factor didn't take precedence over myself. And that's kind of my, and my family. And that's kind of my video game collecting philosophy, is to treat these as luxuries that you can enjoy, but don't become overcome by them. Don't let the video games overrun you. And when you can control your collection doesn't go out of hand, that's when you can really say that you've mastered your collection. But it's important to determine, what are your priorities? Is your priority gaming? Maybe you have a video game career or something. I don't know. I do videos on YouTube, and I do them about games, but I'm also not, how should we say, tied down by my games. What is your video game selling and collecting philosophy? I'd love to know. Video responses are welcome. And be sure to check out the aforementioned channels. They're all great. So thanks. I'll catch you later.
Hey, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's me, Majora, and I got a little booze, I got a little bit of high rules, and we got a cause for celebration, ladies and gentlemen. Cheers. Cheers to you, cheers to me. Give you a Hylian toast. Dink. Oh, I forgot the mics here. Dink. All right, why are we cheersing? Big news for me. Big moves, big everything. Big everything. Biggie Smalls. So I got my writing featured in a gaming magazine. I'll let that sink in for a sec. Holy smokes! What? I wrote something and it got put in a video game magazine? Okay, I'm hyping this up probably a little more than it honestly deserves, but I'm still super stoked. I got featured in a letter to the editor for Nintendo Force on Skyward Sword HD, and I'll go into detail in a bit. But let me just show you my name, my YouTube handle here in the letters to the editor. Can you see that? Can you see that? Majority. Actually, well, not pointing to this guy. This is not me. But this is me. This is me. Ha ha ha. Super stoked. Anyways, a little history about my history with video game magazines and also Nintendo Force. And just kind of why I am in this magazine in the first place. I love print gaming media. I've subscribed to gaming magazines from way back, maybe half a lifetime ago when I was in grade school. I would get the Game Informers every month, and I would just scour through them. I would head straight to the reviews. I would read what people were saying about certain games. I would look at the scores. I would analyze them. I would look at the titles and, see the clever, funny names that they were given to these things. I remember getting excited about games I've never even owned, but it was just so cool to me. Like Xbox games like Ninja Gaiden, Conker's Bad Fur Day Reloaded. Yeah, I loved print gaming magazines. They were just my jam. That was my thing. And then, I kind of cut myself off from gaming for a decent portion of my life. But I found myself rekindled, as far as interest goes in video games, etc. I found that Game Informers lately aren't as detailed as they used to be, and they leave a bit to be desired. I also had a few Nintendo Powers back in the day. To be honest, I think I preferred the Game Informers just because they covered a larger breadth of video games and gaming news. But I kind of appreciated the sincerity and innocence of Nintendo Power, if that makes sense. You see that rekindled in Nintendo Force. I was first turned on to them by SNES Mapper. He's the first person I ever heard talk about the magazine. Essentially, it's a fan-funded revitalization of Nintendo Power. And you get a decent array of writers in there. They write about all things Nintendo, Nintendo apparel, Nintendo memorabilia, Nintendo video games, upcoming releases, Switch Directs, E3s. They got a little review catalog section in the back, and they theme every magazine. It's not a monthly installment. I don't think they have enough content to write for every month on just Nintendo, so they do it more seasonally when there's big news to be talked about. And I've been interested in them in a while. You do get your money's worth. You know, you get a lot of previews, you get reviews, you get retrospectives on old games from back in the day. They give you a double-sided magazine on the front cover. So I've been a fan. I've always found it, you know, even when I was budget conscious, I've been hard pressed to cancel my subscriptions, like $5 a month, or $5 per issue, I should say. You can also order old issues on their website. A lot of good stuff. So that's kind of my brief history with the magazine. Now, about the letter to the editor section. This is technically part of a contest, if you will, where they have readers submit their answers to a couple questions, and they could win a copy of the game that's being talked about. In the previous issue, they had people take pictures of things related to Pokemon Snap, and then they featured one, and I think that person got a copy of New Pokemon Snap. They had a little contest that they were alluding to for this issue in the previous issue, where they kind of showed, oh, we're going to be writing about Skyward Sword for this issue. And they said, here's 3 questions that we would like you to answer, and you will have a chance to earn a copy of Skyward Sword HD. I didn't win that copy, but my letter, as you saw, was the first one on this page, and I found that super exciting. So I'm gonna read you the questions, read you what I wrote, and then talk to you a little bit about what that means to me and for me. So their question is as follows. Players poll response time. We asked you all to share your experience of playing Skyward Sword in the past, your high point and your low. We then inquired about your opinion on games using motion controls. And finally, once more, put you in a pitching position to come up with your most creative idea for a Skyward spin-off or side mode. An array of answers awaits your eyes, as always. So, pretty exciting. I've had history with Skyward Sword. I felt like I had a decent bit to say. And I was, the second I saw that it was a contest entry, I just pulled out my phone, I wrote a bit, I looked it over, and then I sent it to them. And here it is in all of its unadulterated glory. I played Skyward Sword on my Wii Mini back around 2016. My high point was duking it out with Girahim in a cutthroat 1v1, where he mirrored my attacks. It reminded me of the Shadow Link battle in Ocarina's Water Temple, but more intense. My low point was trying to hop out of the water over a barrier using motion controls in a race section in Lake Floria. That was a miserable 15 to 30 minutes that I won't mind re-experiencing with standard controls. Skyward Sword handled okay with Wii Motion Plus. Some things like the sword play handled motion controls intuitively and in an engaging, thoughtful manner. Other elements, like piloting the bird, left a more conventional approach to be desired. Overall, Skyward Sword wasn't the heinous motion control offender some may have made it out to be, but it also didn't perfect the control scheme in the same ways that rail shooters and light gun games did on the Wii. A Skyward Sword extra game mode? This one is easy. Skyward Sword The Groose Chase. Groose easily rivals other silly icons from the series like Tingle and Camaro for best comic relief. Could you imagine what it would be like to lead Groose and his pack of goons throughout the main narrative arcs of Skyward Sword? Maybe not, but I hope someone at Nintendo can, and did. Oh, how's that for writing on games? Oh, that is so powerful to me to have my writing about Zelda featured in a magazine about Zelda. You know, I mean, Terry likes to joke and calls me the Zelda guy. I do love that series. And to see that my writing was appreciated in some kind of formal magazine is just an honor. I'm honestly humble about the fact that I was considered to even be in the magazine. The victory and the winnings is not important to me. I won just by being acknowledged and having my work respected. I know typically you think of me as like a video content creator, and I am, but I actually started my first reviews on this channel in a scripted format. It's something I've returned to here and there. I've done whole narrative analyses where I read off the script. And so, you know, it's powerful for me in the aspect of having my love of Zelda respected and appreciated. But it also teaches me that I do have a way with words that can be communicated through text. And I think the meaning of it to me is that really the world is at my disposal. I could take this and do anything with it as far as my love of games and writing on games and making videos about games. And, you know, I'm interested in toying with the different aspects of the craft. I tend to like a more discursive style on YouTube, talking more in front of the camera and going off script, but I can understand the value of having a script as well. And so that's something I think I'll give a try. I'll give a try to essays on games, shall we say. But thank you for indulging me in this little, you know, victory for myself. It really is a meaningful step in my life. Thanks. Let me know what you think. And if you've ever submitted anything to a magazine publication before. Also, if you're considering getting Nintendo Force, they are a radical publication. I love them. They're great. So they got a hands down thumbs up from me, especially for publishing my writing. Thanks, guys. Cheers. And I'll see you with more content to come. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the ultimate mashup of content and content creators here on Majora TCast Returns. Today, we're returning spectacular with Mr. VG Mashup. Welcome to the show,
Yay!
Sarah.
Thank you for having me again. Really appreciate it and looking forward to whatever's on deck.
Me too. I don't even know. We'll figure it out as we go. Yeah, last time I had you on was for like the Mario Direct. I thought that was awesome, but I thought this would be a good opportunity to get to talk to you kind of just more, you know, off the cuff personally and just see where the wind takes us.
Sounds good. Kind of like Zelda, right?
Yeah, where the wind takes them. The Wind Waker.
The Wind Waker.
Excellent. Where the wind wakes you.
There you go.
Yeah. So I like starting these off kind of fun. You like mashing up stuff.
Absolutely. Especially when it comes to games. Not necessarily when it comes to food, but yes.
Oh, I was going to challenge you with a food question. Oh, no. That spoils everything. Fine.
Uh-oh. I knew it was coming. I could read your mind, Teddy.
Oh, my gosh. All right, fine. What do you want to replace it with?
No. Let's do it. Let's do a food mashup.
Okay, I'm going to list a primary dish, and I want you to mash it up with side dishes.
Okay.
We'll start easy. Steak.
Side dishes, I guess, mashed potatoes. That's boring. How about ice cream? Let's go more fun.
Oh, wow. Steak and ice cream.
Yeah, there you go.
Love it. All right. Ground beef.
Ground beef. That's pretty unhealthy, so I'll go with a nice salad
Nice.
just to
Oh,
balance it.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's a good balance. I like that. Ground turkey.
Oh man, now I wish I had the salad back. But okay. Ground turkey. That's not as bad, right? That's a little bit more healthier. So we'll go mac and cheese with that.
Beauty. Ooh, love me some good mac. Oh, I had some good ones. I don't remember them now. How about pork chops?
Oh man. Let's just go with I don't know, rice, plain old rice. I know it's boring, but why not?
What kind of rice?
I'll go with pilaf.
Ooh, pilaf. Fancy. I would have just said brown.
There you go. That's healthier, but we don't do healthy in my place, so
Ooh, okay. Well, the salad had me going, I thought that was pretty healthy.
I had to really sort of go off the cuff a little bit.
All right, so let's do the real challenge then. Tofu.
Tofu.
Yes.
Tofu. Noodles.
Oh.
Yeah.
Any specific
with
noodle?
noodles. I usually just whatever works. Doesn't really matter as
Okay.
long as they have that Asian, Chinese, Japanese feel to it. Doesn't matter.
Beauty. Okay. So ramen, udon.
I would say ramen, but that's cheating because that's what everyone would say. But
Okay.
yeah, we can go with ramen.
Yeah, you just say crispy noodles. It's
There
pretty
you
good.
go.
Yeah. Excellent. Cool. All right, I got some dinner menus to try out. Steak and ice cream. My girlfriend
Steak and
will be
ice
very
cream.
happy.
Yes. Two best food groups go together.
Absolutely. Ice cream belongs bottom of the food chain for most consumed. Beautiful. Okay, so how have you been, man?
Been great. Really enjoying my YouTube stuff. Kind of sort of found my rhythm when it comes to that. Participating a lot more in Discord. Gets a little bit overwhelming, but overall, still enjoying it. Trying to balancing the work, family,
Yeah.
and passion, YouTubing, and of course gaming. Doing a lot of gaming this year. As always, really enjoying it. A lot of games that I've played, sort of that were on my backlog forever. Going through them. So overall, great year.
You're doing great, man. I love seeing your content. I love seeing your growth, and you've been doing videos every week, and you've been claiming
Yes,
it.
yes.
Ah.
I've been. I enjoy that schedule. Kind of pushes me to, just sort of keep busy, come up with ideas, and basically just maintain a schedule. So I like that.
Hey, this is funny. I think you and I share a kind of similar optimism in terms of like the YouTube content creation and just having fun with it and doing as much as we can. How do you maintain that, especially in the face of like kind of a general pessimism in our community?
Yeah, for me, it's really simple. I look at it as even if one person from the overall community, or even somebody from outside our quote unquote close knit community,
Right.
enjoys the video, gets some entertainment out of it, that's a success for me. And I don't even really look beyond that. I mean, I would love to get my stuff to grow. I would love to get my channel to grow, but that is sort of as years progress, as time progresses, I've sort of shifted away from that. And to me, it's more about building this community, more about participating more on Discord, participating more via YouTube chats, video responses. And that has really sort of ignited more of a passion rather than something of a quote unquote job that a lot of people are doing on YouTube these days.
Yeah.
So I think it works better in the long run.
Dude,
even though it doesn't show, I think it works better in the long run.
Oh, it definitely shows. Maybe not in terms of the numbers, in terms of views or whatever, but I think like your participation has been profound. I love seeing your video responses to the button mappers, your community table topics. You and Terry, you're neck and neck right now.
Yeah,
You guys
I know.
put out
I got to keep up with him. He's tough to keep up with.
very, but I do appreciate both you guys for really going out of your way, and yeah, and even the viewer voicemails. You've got a good number on those. I love those. And I know maybe that this is kind of me centric, but I do really just generally appreciate seeing like the effort that you put into, like you said, building a community. I know I said like our community before, but I tend to think like broadly too. I don't just mean like the 7 or 8 people who like tend to, do video responses and comment back and forth to each other. I think it's like a growing thing.
Well, it's more of an organic growth. right? The more people like how many times are you going to watch the same old stuff before you're like, man, I really wish there was somebody out there doing something different. And this to me is the definition of different.
Yeah.
You know, it's not going to get the viewership, it's not going to get whatever the algorithm is, whatever, however Google uses it, but the point is it's something out of the norm, something you can relate to, something that is more personal. And that's what I think is so special and unique at the same time.
Yeah, definitely. There's going to be people who appreciate what you do and how you do it, and you got to speak to them. And like, you know, I think the kind of attitude that you maintain and that you show is helpful, and it's inspiring. And I think as long as you maintain that, that's a great track.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
For as long as I can.
How do you balance responsibilities in gaming? 'Cause when I think of you and kind of maybe your identity here in the circle, but also on the platform, I kind of think of like gaming dad, maybe or like the kind of like Alex calls you Papa, you know, it's a joke, but
absolutely.
you know, but I mean,
I do have a teenager
too. Yeah, you actually have children, and how do you balance these things? The content creation, the gaming, the father, the husband, etc.
Yeah, it's all sort of a understanding. First off, your family knows what you're doing. So for example, I told my wife, hey, Saturday morning is chore day and we have a visitor coming. My actually father-in-law is coming in tomorrow. So I said, hey, I'm going to do this for about an hour or so, and then we'll come back and we got to go to get some groceries and stuff like that. So it's basically an understanding. Communication is number one, very important, right?
Yeah.
Talk to your kids, set a schedule. Then of course there's work as well. So you can't really do this when you're quote unquote working, which is in my case. I'm working from home, so I got to be really careful that I don't get those two mixed up. And, basically, if you plan everything out, I think it is more than possible to get everything done. For example, gaming is just one aspect, right? We also, when I say we, me and my kids and my wife, we also like to go out. We do hiking, we play soccer just to keep ourselves active. Those things are also important. So basically, when you're doing a multitude of things and you have a proper schedule, I think everything that you are partaking in throughout your day, week, month really feels more special. You're not doing the same thing over and over. And hence, you're more motivated to do things that, things like YouTube or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, definitely. And you're energized and everything. I love hiking, man. I should probably know the trails out here better. Do you have good trails by you?
Absolutely do. The only problem is Alabama, or Huntsville. Actually, I'm not sure if it's Huntsville specific, but Alabama in general, I didn't know this, is one of the wettest states. Probably ranked top 5, I know for sure. Hawaii is obviously number 1, which I'm sure you're familiar with because you live there. But so the only problem is during summertime, it's pretty humid and very spidery, quote unquote.
Ooh.
And of course, I make my teenager walk in front. He kind of runs into all the webs and clears them up for us, and he gets upset, and we kind of go back and forth that way. But yeah, there are a lot of trails, a lot of really well-made trails, some that are kind of rough. So if you're into biking or you're into just plain old walking, a lot of stuff to do over here. When I say here, I mean within 10, 20 minute driving distance. So really, really close, very accessible.
Terry, do you think this is tea? Do you think this isn't tea? Do you think I would lie to you, Terry? Do you think I would lie to you while drinking out of a Kirby mug? Do you think I would dare do that, Terry? Terry, I'm drinking tea for you, Mr. Terry 309. Today's tea is actually a Japanese roasted tea called Takao Kaya. Can't read the kanji here, but it's pretty good. It's got a nice kind of like breakfasty taste to it, I guess. Kind of like your Earl Grey, if you will. I'm trying the layout a little different here. I gotta move this around. Actually, I think. Yep, there we go. All right, cool. So this has been a great episode, but it's not done. We got viewer Q&A, and you can leave me a question at any time for Majority Speaks returns in the Discord, the Sworn Brothers. Will you join? I hope so. And you can ask me whatever you like, and I'll address it however I like. And it's going to be, in the words of Majority, very good. So let's start off with Terry, 309. Hold on. T, classy. Is Tails a boy? Yes, and a kid. Did you know? In Sonic Adventure, the voice actor for Tails is definitely a random ass kid. I had no idea. The English voice actor, anyway.
Hey, Sonic! Long time no see, huh?
Sonic! That's Tails. That's Tails as a kid boy. Oh, man. All right, BioPhoenix, a great game with a bad box art. You know, I feel like too often we tend to defer to like a lot of the famous examples. I'm actually going to stick with one you might not expect, but I think the box art doesn't suit the game. The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time on N64. I actually don't have it, the US version, as far as like the box art and everything. I have the Japanese version, and you can tell me which you think looks cooler. Hold on, let me go grab it. Boom, baby. Check this out. We got a long box, Japanese Ocarina of Time. I'm showing it off. Densetsu no something. I don't know. But this kind of has like that cool classic like Link look to it. You know, the North American one just kind of disappoints me. Just the Hyrule shield and the sword, and you get no like character on there. I admit, like, this isn't the best one. I actually think the Majora's Mask one looks cooler, but as far as better box art, the Japanese version does it more justice than the North American one. So I don't know if you guys expected that or not. Rave Racer 91 wants to know, is there a good game that I consider bad or terrible for any reason? I cannot get Journey out of my head, dude. I've played this game 3 or 4 times, and it means nothing to me. Especially, like, having played and just come straight off of Shadow of the Colossus. Like, that game was very masterful and artistic and an accomplishment. I think Journey's just kind of like a half-baked Shadow of the Colossus attempt. I know it's primarily a walking simulator and not a boss rush, but you can tell they're trying to go with the less is more storytelling type of thing. And, oh, you can infer anything out of this. You can infer all of these themes. I just thought that so much of the experience was just visually stunning, but in terms of actually telling a story for me to latch onto and to be wowed by, the story of a creature crawling over a mountain didn't do it for me. I just thought it was lazy. Maybe lazy is not the right word. I just think people overhype it. It's not a bad game, but with the hype that comes with it, with that territory, it doesn't match. So I think that in that respect, the legacy attached to Journey doesn't do it justice. Terry 309. Hold on. Oh, that's T for Terry. If Pokemon was real life, what would I catch first? I have to understand this the right way you're asking it, and I'm going to presume I don't understand. So, if Pokemon was real life, which actual Pokemon would I catch first? I would say give me a Lapras. Yeah. If I was to catch, like, an actual creature that would, like, serve me or something, then maybe, like, a dog. And we could call that our partner Pokemon, I guess. I don't know, maybe a bird. Maybe like, I don't want like a seagull and be like, ah! You know, maybe like a cockatoo. Or a flamingo. Yeah. Cool. Amir's translator, aka Multimaster, did I ever end up selling the DS in my throwback DS review? So I did address this earlier in a video response. The answer is yes. I go into it in more detail there. I hope you check it out. What game did I make the most money in without using cheats? This is BioPhoenix, by the way. And how would it work if I had that much in real life? That's an interesting question. The one that I recall the most is definitely in Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow with Nugget Bridge. And what I used to do is I would get to the final trainer on the bridge, and before I went into battle with him, I would save the game. I'd put all my Pokemon in the PC. I'd go use like a level 3 Caterpie or something and let his Pidgey just take me out. And every time I respawned and talked to that guy, he'd give me a new nugget. And I could sell it to the mart for 5,000 yen. I actually don't know what the conversion is. Maybe we could look that up real quick. Yen to dollar conversion. And I'm going to actually just move this here, and I'm going to turn webcam off for a second. A yen is equal to 0.01 just about US dollars, so about a penny. So 5,000 yen would be 5,000 yen would be 5,000 pennies, would be $50. Let's just confirm that. All right, $45. So I probably used to sell about, if I'm gonna be honest about like how I used to play the bridge scene, maybe 10 nuggets or so. So I'll throw an extra one on there. It would be about $453 I would have made in real life mechanics. So pretty interesting, novel question and concept. Is there a follow-up to that? Like, what would I do with the money or something? Hold on, let's see exactly what he asked. How would it work in real life? Well, let's just kind of brain tease it. What would I do with $453 if I could legally cheat the system? I'd buy an Xbox Series X and just subscribe to Game Pass. I can afford that. The Series X, forget it. I can't buy that. I can't buy that with the storage expansion and everything. But great question. I really like it. That's very creative. Turbo Zone. What is my favorite Sega Genesis game? You know, there are a lot of favorable Sega Genesis games that I have experienced. I always kind of defer back to my most nostalgic ones. You know, I think back to, what I remember playing with my friend when I first saw the Genesis. You know, it was like Tiny Toons, it was Vector Man, it was Earthworm Jim, and it was Sonic 3. Of those games, the only ones that I've beaten are Vector Man and Sonic 3. I've come to realize, like, over time that Vector Man maybe isn't as amazing as of a platformer as I remembered it. It's not like a Donkey Kong Country, although it's comparable in some regards. And Sonic 3, while I do love it, you know, that damn Carnival Night Zone really screws things up. If there was one game in my Genesis collecting heyday that I did really just constantly put in and just play and just enjoy, it would have to be Herzog Zwei. I know it's like a PvP thing and you can play against local players, but I used to just play against the computer and I would set the match, and you know, I used to be able to keep up with it, not on like the hardest difficulties or anything, but it would prove for like an intense 30-minute session against the computer. Like it's almost like playing chess in a sense, but like real-time chess with pieces and everything. I know it's like, you know, the strategy or whatever is maybe it's not that strategic. It's like spawn enemies, spread out, take over as many bases as you can, and then kind of swarm the enemy. And also you have the live action kind of like airplane transformer conversion battle. But I just thought it was a really engaging and investing time with great music and decent enough visuals. So that would be my favorite Sega Genesis game. That's a great question. Thanks for asking. Oh boy, we got a mashup, y'all. Mr. VG Mashup wants to mash it up on the topic of Pokemon, and I love it. What fundamentals would I change if I were designing the next Pokemon game? Story, leveling up system, catch rates, Pokemon types, battle types, etc. So I could talk about each of these, but if you were to ask me what is the fundamental flaw with Pokemon right now, and in its previous iterations, like the most recent ones, because I am very nostalgic about the earliest ones, this has become a global consumer product, and it really does reflect in the settings. The previous 3 or 4 Pokemon games have been set everywhere but Japan, which the first 4 Pokemon games, we're only talking mainline ones here, are. They're all from different regions in Japan. Once you hit Black and White, the setting changed to New York City, which is cool, and I would like to actually give Black and White another try. But then after that, I really do feel like they played it safe. They did France for X and Y, which was a nightmare with the actual Parisian Tower. They did Hawaii for the Alolan Sun and Moon, which, having lived there, I found a very tacky representation of Hawaii. And then to be fair, I haven't played it, but I avoided it for that reason. And then with not Sun and Moon, Sword and Shield, it does have like that kind of Scotland vibe to it, but it's so devoid of anything, any personality. So you have combating problems here in the fact that there's very little personality to the actual persons in the game, and then also that the environments are really safe bets. Okay, I get like, let's explore the world, but if you're going to do that, let's go someplace interesting. Let's go to Jamaica. Let's go to South America. Let's go to Africa. Can you imagine the wildlife Pokemon that you see in Africa? And then here's another thing, right? There's always the gimmick. And to be honest, I think Pokemon has kind of dug itself a hole in terms of RPG mechanics because they have to constantly adapt for Pokemon that are overpowered or that are just not viable. Having come off of Chrono Cross, that game just reinvented how I would like any and every RPG to be in terms of gameplay systems. I think that one makes every character viable because you can do things like give your tech skills to any of your characters. Of course, there are special ones for every character, but basically, the entire recruitable party is at your disposal. Versus Pokemon, you're not going to go into competitive play with a goddamn Beedrill. What are you going to use? Twin Needle? X-Scissor? Poison Sting? They stop becoming viable after a while. So I think, I do like what they're doing with giving you infinite TM usage and being able to apply them to any Pokemon. I really would like to see them make more of all of the Pokemon viable, which I don't know if that's possible, having 750 of the Pokemon and people clamoring when you don't put all of them in. That's what I mean is they've dug themselves a hole. I like what they've done with some of the things like different versions of Pokemon, like the Sword and Shield Meowth and Persian, like the type difference and like the visual difference. That was really cool, and I think the reason I like that more than things like Mega Evolution or Gigantamax is because those just take any random standard Pokemon and give them a massive power up, or even in like X and Y, a very select few Pokemon, and like it almost puts them above the other party members that you have. Versus, I like the variance of these forms because it does accommodate some of their weaknesses. I don't think they should change up the system too much. I honestly don't think there's too many types that they should add. I was debating a kind of like a bacteria bioweapon kind of thing, but I think that falls under poison. I don't know. You can let me know what you think. Oh, one other thing. Another reason that I love Chrono Cross is because there's such an emphasis on not just you, but the party. That, you are going into battle and you are going all 3 party members at any one time. Yes, you can switch them out. Yes, they can level up with you. The XP share thing in Pokemon, to be honest, I find it too easy to keep your party up, but I understand people like it, so keep it. And I didn't mind it in Chrono Cross because there's, the training system isn't great. But what I think I would like is a bit more boldness in terms of direction. Put 3 Pokemon out on the field for every battle instead of just one and doing the standard 6 thing. I think that could really shape it up. You might worry but then you would just spam moves like Earthquake and Surf, etc. Not necessarily, because, you can hit your own party members with those kind of things. You would have to account for it. It would be interesting to say the least. What do you think of my ideas? Do you agree with them? Do you disagree? What would it take to get you to get into the next Pokemon mainline game? Great question. I love it. Following up on that, Amir's translator wants to know, what Pokemon game has the visuals that I enjoy the most? Oh, that's such a good question. And you know what? I think I'm a sucker for the 8-bit style. And I do really like how the terrain looks in like the classic Game Boy Color editions of red, blue, yellow, gold, silver, crystal. I just think like, you know, and I do like the 16-bit Game Boy Advance remakes. I think they look great. But there's something kind of charming and nostalgic about just that kind of simple monochromatic look to it that I kind of miss. I kind of miss it. Or, you know, with the gold and silver, you know, they added a few more colors. Like the color contrast is a little starker than in red, blue, and yellow. That's good too. I think those look really good. I just think once you start adding too many elements, it starts looking like a little more watercolory. Granted, the Pokemon designs in red and blue are, you know, they're outdated by far. And it's cool to see them in 3D. But I think that's the thing, is that like there's that brief appeal. Oh wow, I get to see him in 3D, and you know that was a thing for us. You know, older generation. We grew up on the old school ones, but I think that charm kind of dies down after a while. And I am nostalgic about the classic style, so that's really good. Amir's translator Multimaster also has a great question. What is the Mount Rushmore of Nintendo characters, one per franchise? Dude, you had to make this hard, didn't you? But I mean, isn't just that like the Smash Bros roster, and I picked 4 of them? So who are the pivotal 4 Nintendo characters? Mario, obviously, that's 1. I think you got to put Link up there. That's 2. Number 3, like let me look at my shelf for a second. Okay, I think Ash is 3. And then I'm going to be maybe controversial here. I think Samus is 4. You know, my rationale for this is like, okay, Mario was the pioneer, right? He's like your George Washington, I guess, like your first big Nintendo guy. Link is kind of like, I don't know. I should really know the Mount Rushmore people. Yeah, I want to have a good answer to this. Let me look up which presidents were on there. Yeah, I think Ash is like maybe your Thomas Jefferson. What did he do? He signed like the Declaration of Independence or something. Great. My American history is terrible. I got to study up on this. Yeah, okay, good. Principal author of the Declaration of Independence. In the sense that, like, I think Pokemon just defended Nintendo's kind of like independence and like strength as like a handheld company. I think Link is like your Teddy Roosevelt, just all out, like guns blazing wild with like tons of cool and, you know, wonky releases, but like kind of a rebel in a sense, you know, and still defining his own kind of iconicness. And then, you know, I think Metroid is pivotal in the sense of redefining expectations, redefining adventure platformers, and redefining the role of women as lead roles in video games. So those are my 4. What do you think of that? Does that make sense? And or am I just being too creative here? Okay, I love this next question. Not as tells a boy. We already addressed that. SNES Mapper wants to know, are there any old YouTubers that you enjoyed but are no longer making content? And then he has a part 2 to that, which I'll get to in a second, but let me address this first. Okay, a brief history. I really started this channel and putting out content probably in like 2014 or, going into 2015 and maybe some of 2013. I think I was just doing like Pokemon X and Y battles or whatever. My first community that I think I integrated in was like, they were members of what we knew as the Jib Squad, and I got on friendly terms with a lot of them, and I still talk with a couple of them today. I watch some of their videos, but a lot of them have kind of phased off. So like I haven't heard much from Crack Lotus, from Sporadic Spacebar, Heavens to Gretzky. Yeah, he's cool. I miss him, man. All those guys are cool, really. And probably like one or two more that I'm forgetting. But I still see a couple of them posting videos. I still watch TG Apuleius. I see Mr. Dude, the Completionist. I love when he gets some content up there. McFly. Gotta love McFly. He's classic. So I guess I kind of miss their content and their presence on the platform. And then also it was kind of devastating for me when Bossum Burf said that he wouldn't be making more content. Fortunately, he has come back. He was one of the first guys that really, like, I don't know if I'd say took me under his wing, but like, I had no subscribers. My dad was my subscriber. And like another guy, he watched a video and was like, yeah, you'd like Zelda, this is cool, you should try this. And then I didn't really hear from him much. But Burf and we kind of like fostered a relationship. And so I was sad to see him stop making content, but I'm happy that he's back. I loved seeing a video response out of him for the button mappers and also the live streams and everything. So it's great to see him still present in some creative content format. And then as far as kind of like maybe people outside of that realm, I also used to enjoy the guy's name was Me Dylan. I think you know who he is, a SNES mapper. I don't know what happened to him. He doesn't really make content anymore. And then most of the other guys that I would list have done content within the past year, just very like spaced out. So those would be the ones that I miss in the smaller community. In the larger community, I obviously miss Classic Game Room uploads, but like the classic Game Room. And also, I really love Dave. And when Dave came back and did his channel of Retro Gaming Rewind, I really liked the videos that he was putting out, but something stopped him and he just hasn't been doing it for quite some time. And I think he was doing like mostly wrestling videos at one point. And kind of a shame, I think he was like a good figure to have in the community, and I'd love to see more from him. So that's the first part. The second, any advice to other channels so they don't get burned up or tired in making YouTube content? I've gotten burned out before. I think one of the things that will burn you out is if you obsess over analytics. I think you have to celebrate small victories and do it frequently. And do it however you see a celebration should be done. If it's ordering food because you did something, or it's popping a beer because you hit a certain number of subscribers, or making a video celebrating it, it's really just about bringing the positive vibes to it and just kind of the feel-good vibes. We don't have to force positivity, but we have to acknowledge it in order to stay motivated and stay the course. Otherwise, this community, not necessarily like our community here, but like the YouTube gaming community and even just YouTube in general, if you look at like comments on a lot of videos or dislikes or whatever, it's just there is a very strong air of pessimism. And it's like, don't let that cloud hover over you. Once you do, it's downhill from there. You'll go in a slump. I've been in a slump from things other than YouTube, from work, etc. And I don't want to do anything when that happens. I don't even want to make content when that happens. So I think just really finding the victories and celebrating them, whatever it be, So that would be my main piece of advice. But I do love that question. Did I do a video answering that? Maybe. I don't know. Who would win in a fight, Terry 309 or VG Mashup? I don't know. I'm not answering that. And can't we all just get along? Come on, guys. This is what I'm saying, but that's your fault, Alex. Okay, cool. All right, so that's going to be it for the Q&A portion, but don't go anywhere because we have another segment, the viewer voicemail, a segment where you can call into the show and leave me a voicemail asking me anything, leaving a comment, some feedback, your thoughts, what you have for breakfast, whatever. And if it's good, I'll play it. And if not, I don't know. Maybe not. But you can call into the show at the following number, 1-917-267-8313. Once again, that's 1-917-267-8313. We got a voicemail from the infamous Mr. VG Mashup, and I'm very excited to play it for you and to let you know what I think. Let's go ahead and give it a listen, shall we? Let me throw my shades on, too. So, the heat of this question doesn't just, send me sweltering. Let's play it.
Majora T, VG Mashup again with a question. And my question is rather simple, but hopefully it will require some thought. What is your favorite plot twist in video gaming? It can be any twist that you enjoyed, whether a hero that was no longer a hero turned into a villain, a character that died, whatever the case may be. What is one of the most memorable one, or if you want to share more than one, what are some of the most memorable moments for you in gaming? Love to hear it in the answers. Thank you. Bye.
My favorite twist in gaming is from Zumba. There's this song, it's like twist and shout, twist and shout, twist and shout. Come on, baby. Now come on, baby. All right, no. I've never played Zumba. I wouldn't know. Not my favorite twist in gaming, but I thought that would be funny. Okay, so obviously you've got some classic, iconic, unforgettable twists. Metal Gear Solid, you end up launching Metal Gear. Ocarina of Time, you end up freeing the thing for Ganondorf. Final Fantasy VII, I think you're pretty much, you become Sephiroth's lackey. And a bunch of other ones. Obviously, Shadow of the Colossus, too. You end up, I don't want to spoil too much for those who haven't played games like that. And then also, I was thinking about the iconic NES experience of Donkey Kong Jr. The first time that I ever played that was, well into my experience of playing Mario games. To see a game where he was the villain was very interesting and unexpected, especially from an earlier game. But I think that's also, it kind of falls under one of those more iconic ones, maybe not a favorite. My favorite in recent memory, and looking at my collection, comes from Yakuza's Fix. I did really enjoy this. I played this primarily because Takeshi Kitano's in it, and he is a stellar actor, director, everything, and he does his part well in this game. But there is a plot twist regarding him, and I won't say more about it for those who want to experience the game for themselves. But very, very memorable plot twist in gaming for me, and the game that was memorable to me too. Thank you for the question, VG. That's going to do it for the July edition for Majority Speaks returns. I hope you enjoyed. I will see y'all later with questions to answer, voicemails to cover, RPGs to log, and more. Thanks for watching. See you next time.